Hey everybody, this is Melanie the Strange again with another episode of Unpopular Opinions. Yeah, episode 2. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who supported me last week and listened to the very first episode. Hopefully you're tuning in again this week. I didn't think I'd get such an overwhelming response, so I'm grateful for everyone that listened and responded and said that what I said last week was heartfelt and touching and moved them to some degree. So I am very grateful for everyone that tuned in. Continue to spread the word, tell everybody I'm gonna keep coming at you with some wild funky stuff. So let's just get right into it. This week we're going to be talking about Chris Brown. Should I bother to even listen to him again? So, episode 2, Unpopular Opinions. Let's go. Alright, everybody, this is episode 2 of Unpopular Opinions. Today's, topic will be Chris Brown. Is it worth listening to? Let's just give the rundown of this young man's statistics. I'm just going to try to rattle this off top. Maybe I should actually pull some stuff up so I'm not, slandering his name because, he's pretty wild for attacking people out of clear randomness. So basically, Chris Brown, the American singer, male singer, R&B singer, he came out in 2005 and definitely struck a chord with some people. He was young and energetic and had a lot to offer. Honestly, vocally, this kid is amazing. He's not even a kid, he's actually older than me, but he's actually a great vocalist. And I can't say much about his writing. I'm sure he writes some of this stuff now, but yeah, he was pretty dope. I can honestly say that I started listening to him I guess pretty much off the bat. I was still very young when he came out, and I wasn't allowed to listen to a whole lot of secular music. For those of you that don't know what secular is, it's anything outside of the Christian religion that wasn't gospel or Christian music. So I didn't really have access to that. I was still learning how to download and pirate stuff. Go figure. So I listened to him. I thought he was pretty cool. I wanted to dance like him because I was that was the thing. I was really trying to hold on to that dancer in me, which is completely gone now. But I don't know. He was pretty dope, especially with his first single, Run It. I think that was 2005 or something like that. And it was dope. It was everywhere. He was huge, he was definitely popular with all the people that are attracted to guys and all that jazz, especially the young females. And I mean, I didn't have those feelings. He just wasn't, all that to me. But I did definitely, want to hear his first album. So it wasn't until his second album in 2007, Exclusive, that I really started paying attention to him and listening to him and dissecting his music, because at this point I had already been really interested in music and I was picking things apart, like the vocals and who wrote this and who's the producer and all these different things. So my music interest was still budding, so I was really interested in what he was doing. And of course, in 2009, he had that really big incident with Rihanna. I'm not even going to say incident. It was domestic abuse. And, I think it was, at the time, I really listened to it and I thought that this was some wild stuff, I couldn't quite tell if this was something that was being made up by media, because I was starting to learn that also, is that things are fabricated and rumors are started and all these different kinds of things. But as time went on, I started to realize that no, it was a legitimate fight. He really did beat the dog shit out of this chick, you know what I'm saying, who was also America's sweetheart. Everyone loved Rihanna. And I just remember they weren't really open about their relationship, and it wasn't, I guess, really public knowledge, but you did like see them around and stuff like that. But at this point, it was pretty obvious what happened. So yeah, at first, when at that age, I was just about 18, something like that, and I started to understand like the dynamics between men and women, but also, I was very immature and I kind of thought it was funny. Of course, I don't feel that now. I think it was absolutely ignorant and you made like the stupidest decision you could possibly think of. But I just, I really didn't know how to react to that. To be quite honest, I wasn't on anyone's side. That wasn't my kind of thing. Mainly because I didn't really listen to Rihanna like that either. I still don't listen to her because I don't like her voice, to be quite honest. But, and during that time, people were more inclined to like kind of side with guys and the idea of domestic violence and abuse, and all of those different things weren't as prevalent as they are now. So it was kind of really weird to navigate that level of interaction with someone. I didn't really know what to say, and being the ignorant person that I was at the time, I definitely was like, oh, well, whatever. So after that, I did kind of dabble into his music here and there, and I will say I picked up, a couple of songs. I did download some stuff. I did find it on Spotify or wherever it was I was listening at the time. But I was never like fully invested after that, not for any sort of emotional reasons or ideals as to why I did or didn't like Chris Brown or anything like that, because I was really indifferent. But I couldn't really get into it the same way. I think also my tastes in music are rapidly changing, and especially at that time, I was kind of drawn away from the norm of music. I was kind of drawn away from, just typical stuff that people would really be into at the time. Like, I don't really care or didn't really care for like pop R&B or like, pop hip hop, because that's what I would call it, or mainstream R&B, mainstream hip hop, those kinds of things. Mainly because I was really starting my journey as someone who discovered music in a different way and thought of music in a different way and wanted to find different sounds, So I wasn't fully invested in hearing his album, although I did listen to that third album that came out sometime after, the whole incident. There were a few songs that I was interested in. I did listen to them, and I did still support. But as I go back and look at them now or listen to them now, it is because my preferences have changed, but also because I just don't like it anymore, And I think over the years, I just kind of started drifting away from Chris Brown as the artist, not even thinking about, his relationship with the law, because, at this point, he's been arrested umpteen times, and he's this bad boy, this persona, this wild child that I don't really care for from anyone. So, over the years, I've just kind of strayed away from it. And just recently, I was thinking, he is a good vocalist. This is the thought that was going through my mind. He is a good vocalist. He is, very upbeat and energetic, and he's held that same energy since he started. But does that outweigh everything else? Not only that, but I'm listening to his music now, and it's really kind of boring. I listened to his new track with Drake, No Guidance, and I was just like, this sounds like pretty much everyone else that's on the radio. And I feel like he had the opportunity to create such a powerful trajectory for his career. And all he really did was kind of fade into the mist with everybody else. And it's kind of unfortunate because you did have a voice, you did have talent. You know, he does have all of these things, but I'm not interested, mainly because you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't care. I actually saw that on social media recently. Someone said Chris Brown's been making the same song for like 10 years. And when I went back and really listened to his discography for the last 10 years, the songs do kind of sound the same. I don't know if it's because he's in that repetitive mode of where everyone's music kind of starts to blend because it is pop music, you know. I was bored, you know, like I think I got through like 2 minutes of the song and I was like, I don't care, you know. Also, I also started out listening to Drake. I remember in high school, one of my friends was like, you know, do you know, I forget, Drake went by something wild, like, shoot, what was it called? Oh, he called him, do you know Drake Drizzy Rogers? I was like, who the heck is a Drake Drizzy Rogers? Like, what kind of name is that, you know? And I'm 900% sure he does not go by that moniker at all. But I listened to September or October's Very Own or whatever, and I couldn't listen to the comeback from Drake because he just, let's be honest, he sucked until it was October's Very Own. So, and even after that, I was like, I don't really care for Drake either. I guess it's the genre that I don't care for. And, you know, their interaction, Chris Brown and Drake's interaction, has definitely gone through the ringer, you know, because they were both chasing after Rihanna at one point, and let's be honest, she could give a shit about either of them at this point, you know. She was doing her own thing, but also, like, you know, Chris Brown was just starting this mess and this angst with pretty much everyone, with any and everything. It was almost as if people started to portray him a certain way, and he just fell into that persona. You know, he just let it happen. He was like, well, I guess this is going to be me, you know. And this isn't to say that he was never, you know, interested in all of these things or had this kind of mentality and mindset before. It's just that now it's rearing its ugly head. And so I think one of the most fascinating things about Chris Brown is that you see all of these young actors and entertainers and singers, all of these people go through this, what we would perceive to be rebellious phase, when in actuality it really is just fame being too much for them to handle, and no one is able to say, hey, let me, you know, take care of you at this point, or guide you, or be of a foundation to you. And you see these people, their music change because they do feel remorse. They do feel like they've fallen from grace from the public eye. So after Chris Brown, again, beat the dog shit out of Rihanna, he definitely had this song on his third album that came out after that, Graffiti. He had a song called I Need This. And I feel it felt like it was the most sincere song that I had heard from him. It felt like he was really trying to prove that he wasn't a negative person. He wasn't this quote unquote monster. And he really like belted it out. And I was like, this is a Chris Brown I want to hear. But I also know that the reason he was doing that song was because he wanted to get back into everyone's good graces. It also didn't help that I found out that Jessie J actually wrote that song and had it on her album, and she actually did it way better because she's an amazing vocalist. So I was just like, I don't know, I don't really care. If you really wanted to apologize to the world or tell everybody whatever it is that you wanted to say, you should have penned that song yourself. You should have, you know, at least laid low for a couple of years or something. He was really just like on the grind trying to stay relevant. And I think his star definitely took a little, it definitely went a little dull because people weren't as invested and as interested in him as when he first came out, because it was all of these things as to why did he do what he did and all that jazz. To be quite honest, it's not the reason as to why he did it isn't as important to me as to the fact that he just did it. Like it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if he came from a broken home or any of those things. It's the fact that you felt like it was acceptable to ball your fist and punch a person in the face. And I can't say that I've been following his career closely, but I follow pretty much everyone's career. I'm knowledgeable of the different things that he's doing, and I try to stay up to date with stuff. And so a couple years back, he had a documentary show up on Netflix, and it was exactly what I thought it would be. It was him still trying to get that attention grab, that begging to get back in people's good graces. And it was exactly what I thought it would be. It was Chris Brown pretty much paying for people in his community, people in his life. If you throw a couple of celebrities in there, they can all say he's a great guy, he did X, Y, and Z. He's so energetic, he won all these awards. I know he won like BET awards. Just saying he won a Grammy and 15 BET awards and 4 Billboard awards and all of these different things, really just hyping him up. And I'm pretty sure you had like Mary J. Blige and Usher and all of these people saying how great Chris Brown was. But outside of that, there weren't really many people that could attest to his personality. So one of the most random things for me is that it was this, for like a good hour and 30 minutes, it was just everyone hyping him up, and this B-roll of him going around the world and singing, speaking from his perspective. And then for like a good, I don't know how long, maybe 15 minutes, it was him talking about what took place between him and Rihanna in that situation. And to hear it from his perspective as an adult, as someone who's grown now, as someone who doesn't think that's funny or okay anymore, not even anymore, but I don't, condone it. It was the stupidest reason you could have possibly, punched someone in the fucking face. Like, are you serious? So I'm just thinking, like, does a talent like this need to completely be washed or erased from music history? Because we have people in the past, we have people like James Brown and a slew of other people. Of course, we're talking about, R. Kelly right now. There's so many different people involved in such ugly activity, negative activity, whether it's abduction, from their families. You're talking about sexual assaults or a sex cult or spying on people, like just really weird things that these people do, and unforgivable, really. Like, I know you can change. I know that people can grow. I know that people's minds can change, because I can attest to that. But do I really want someone who participated in this and didn't really have remorse for a long time, or it didn't feel genuine? Do I still support them musically? And I think that's a line that a lot of people have to really tiptoe around. As for Chris Brown and his artistry, I know he's working really hard, and I feel like he is still working really hard. Recently, I think last year or the year before, Homeboy had a 45 track album. I don't know about you, but that's some crackhead behavior. Like, there's no way in hell I'm about to listen to 45 songs that all sound like these hoes ain't loyal. Like, I don't care. That's not, I'm not paying for that. You're better be lucky Spotify has it for free, because I'm surely not listening to it, all the way through. I think I skipped around and I was like, you have like the same four artists on every song, and I think it's because a lot of people won't touch him. A lot of people won't get near him. A lot of people don't want to be associated with someone who's still in this persona, this really, really aggressive, really conflicted persona. And you see the people who are doing collaborations with him now are people that, they can either afford to do one or two tracks with him, or someone who's really trying to get up there, and they're like, well, Chris Brown is this person who, according to some people, is still very much invested in music, and is a part of this whole dynamic. So I mean, one of the things is just like, it's still going on. And I'll go back to what I said earlier about people changing, is that you can see that certain artists like Justin Bieber, like Drake, like all of these different people who've had questionable moments or was a wild child, or, all of these different things. You can even take it into the actors and actresses that come out on the other side. You can talk about the Shia LaBeoufs, you can talk about Lindsay Lohan and all of these people who, some of them are still a little bit wild. Like Lindsay's still pretty off. But you see some of these people and they grow. They come out on the other side and they're like, I can acknowledge that what I was doing before was not okay, was weird. I was in a really messed up place, because, like I said, that fame gets to you in a way that you don't feel like you have any other choice. You're kind of spiraling out of control. You don't really have a foundation of people to tell you, hey, this is right and this is wrong. So I feel like Chris Brown just lived in that. He lived in that, well, everyone thinks I'm a bad person, so I'm going to just be a bad person, or I'm not going to try to change my ways. And the only reason I'm saying that is because he's still being accused of things like fighting, or his people in his camp, or he has been accused of sexual assault, or all of these different things. And it's kind of hard to pay attention to your artistry. It's kind of hard to acknowledge the fact that, oh, you can hit this run or hit this note amazingly, but you're also kind of a ugly person, and you have to think about it in a way like, you have a friend, they're the dopest friend to you, but to other people they're a legit asshole. Now, some of us have that friend, some of us might be that friend, but do you really want that level of negativity in your life all the time? Like, they're always getting drunk, they're always partying, they're always starting something with somebody. Now, it's perfectly fine if they're down for the cause and they're ride or die, but that can't be your personality all the time, because I don't want that level of drama in my life. But also, when listening to an artist, you don't, for me, it's getting more and more difficult to separate or to make the distinction between someone and their artistry, because every time you hit that hi-hat, I'm thinking of you hitting Rihanna. Like, that's really wild. Or, you know what I'm saying, you're causing some mess, like you breaking bottles in the club or whatever it is. It's like, I don't really care to listen to your music, because first of all, it all sounds the same, but two, like, in what mind was this made? Like, it kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth. At least for me, it does. And that goes to other artists, the main person you think about is Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson left such a legacy that you can't help but consider all of the things, all of the rumors that were said about him. And the reason I said there were rumors is because there have been numerous statements from his accusers saying that they lied, at least in the beginning, saying that they lied, saying that they did all of these things. I genuinely think Michael Jackson was kind of a gullible person. I think he was kind of naive in the fact that he just wanted friends and he wanted to relive a childhood that he never did have. Because you have to realize that fame gets to people in a warped sensibility that they don't always know what's going on or how to react to certain things. I love Michael Jackson. I love him, to this day I'll still listen to his stuff. But I also have to take into consideration that some of the things that people have said about him could possibly be true. So it kind of makes me tread with caution. Like, do I really need to listen to Thriller this Halloween? Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? We can go with the Monster Mash. But it's hard. It's hard to distinguish these people from their artistry, because as great as an artist as Michael Jackson is and was, you can't tell me you don't think about what these people said was true. And in this case with Chris Brown, we have physical proof and evidence and even a confession from him himself that he did what he did and he spoke the way he did and he acted the way he did. Can we just forgive that? Because it's not like it was that one situation. That's what I'm talking about. It's not like it was that one situation. It's not like it was that one time where one person said something. And that's a fine line you really have to walk, is because, do I listen to him? Do I care to give my few pennies on a dollar to his Spotify income? Or his Pandora, whatever he gets from streaming or whatever it is, because I'm not going to buy anything unless I'm actually into it, and that's anything, unless it's a movie that I'm really down to see, or an album that I'm really going for. You're not getting my money, because everybody doesn't deserve my money. Not to mention that I'm also broke, so it's like, as high energy and as entertaining as Chris Brown is, do I actually care to hear what else he has to say? Because, I don't know, it's not that you can't educate yourself. It's not that you can't turn yourself around, because you have people, and I'm throwing out names right now. There are so many people that have done crazy things, have messed up in their life beyond what he did. You know what I'm saying? Robert Downey Jr.'s path was absolutely awful. Sean Penn's path was absolutely awful, but they found a way to rectify what it is that they had done. Whether it's, speaking about it openly and having remorse and doing those things, they kind of changed their ways, at least in the public eye, and for Chris Brown, I know he's done that, but I also think he's a young person who's not really interested in being told what to do. Like I said, he's living in that bad boy kind of mentality, and he's not growing past it, which is what I'm struggling with. Is that you make songs like No Guidance, you make songs like These Hoes Ain't Loyal, you make songs like Deuces and all these other kinds of things, but it doesn't sound like you care to change. You can change. Even some rappers who used to be hardcore, motherfuckers, bitches, and hoes and all this stuff, they've changed and they've grown and they've evolved. And it's wild that someone like Chris Brown, who is so talented, went through something like that, where he was deemed pretty much a demon and was demonized, not to really change. It didn't seem like things really affected him, and we don't know to what extent this did affect him, but it seemed like you didn't want to, and it seems like you don't want to, because you'll still go off on people like, and I guess the thing is that maturity isn't necessarily something that everyone has, because there are people who are in their later years, who are in, the later years of their life, the twilight of their life, whatever that may be, and they're still ignorant, and they still believe what they believe because they don't want to change. There's no need to change. No one's really steering them in a direction that could possibly benefit their lives, because these people are so big, their celebrity is so large that, they're making money. They're making money, and they're feeding everyone around them. So it's almost like, let's tiptoe around this dragon, or, let's tiptoe around this elephant in the room, I guess you could say, without disturbing myself. And so I think for now, I am going to stop listening to Chris Brown, or I'm not necessarily going to be, his champion. I'm pretty sure he had a song called Champion. Or was that Drake? I think that was Drake. Drake and Meek Mill, right? Something like that. Somebody let me know in the comments. But you can... I just don't want to anymore. I'm not really interested in all of that, because it doesn't seem like you're really pushing your artistry. You're not really focusing on reflecting. You're not really focusing on caring for your voice or any of those things that I'm looking for in an artist. Someone that is positive. Can we even say that Chris Brown is positive in any way? What is he doing other than taking on the ideal or the personality that he's, a gangbanger from South Central? It's like, come on, dude. Like, you and I both know that, no, you're not. You a punk. Like, we're not even doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really from this South Central gang, and that you're claiming to be, or all these people are supposed to protect you in the streets. Like, against who? Like, unless you start something with somebody in the streets, no one cares, and I think the whole thing with me is that Chris Brown is so gaudy and so flashy, and he doesn't necessarily have the genuine remorse that I'm looking for his actions, not just the situation with Rihanna, but with, a lot of different things that he's still doing. He's wilding. And to me, it's like that overshadows what good music you could have. You're not taking your time. You're not being a father to your now child. You're not, and I'm not saying this because I know this person or anything like that, but I want you to step away from the limelight and really focus on your music and write something that's meaningful and serious and deeply relational to you as it could be to other people. And I think the ultimate bottom line is that he's just not mature enough to have made that decision, or those decisions. So I don't know. You all let me know how you feel about the whole situation, and tell me what you think. I want to know, should I listen to Chris Brown? Is there something that I missed? Did I not listen to all 400 of his songs? Whatever it is, tell me what it is that might change my mind, because right now I could really care less. Is Chris Brown a listenable artist? You let me know. Yeah, I just want to say thank you again to everyone who participated last time. Thank you to everyone who, supported the podcast, and I hope you continue to support. Let me know if there are topics that you want to talk about in regards to music or movies or TV shows, any of those things. I really want to get into it. So yeah, I hope this was a good podcast, a good story for us to talk about. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. You can find me on there at TheMellanyD. That is the Melanie D. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Still not on Spotify yet, don't know why, but I'm hoping to make that transition soon. If you guys want to go ahead and hit me up, tell me what you thought of this podcast. Tell me what you think. All right, peace out, guys.